Maybe my head is still there. I don't know. So apologies for any delay, but I'm ready to roll whenever you are.
Thank you very much, and thank you for also connecting. Yeah, we are really in time. It's no problem. So thanks again. So yes, we are with Mr. Marko Krinowski, and today we are using the Webex tool. So let me just give you some hints on the Webex tool. So kindly use the chat for comments. So if you have any comments, perhaps you're not hearing anything clearly, please use the chat. But with the questions, we'd like you to use the Q&A. So you can find, on the app, a Q&A sort of pod that you can click on it and type in all your questions. At this juncture, I would also entreat you to just engage in this our quick poll that we want to run. So let me just start the poll now and kindly answer the questions as soon as the poll has started. So it's only 1 minute to answer these questions. How did you learn about the session? Please complete it. The next question, where are you connecting from? You like to know the city. So kindly answer the questions for us. And then which degree are you planning towards? Is it bachelor's, master's, PhD? We like to know. And then what is your subject area? Just quickly type it, and you only have less than 30 seconds to complete this poll as a quick one. So yeah, just click away and let's hear from you. Only about 10 seconds left to complete the poll. So yes, the poll closes in the next second. All right. Thank you so much for answering these questions for us. Okay, so thanks again for answering the questions for us. Now, moving on, I'd like to just give you some brief overview about DAAD before Mr. Krinowski comes in. So if you haven't heard about DAAD, we are one of the world's largest organization for international exchanges and also the world's largest body for scholarships. There are a lot of individual scholarships that you can find with DAAD. You can certainly connect with us later if you want to know more about our scholarships. In Germany, DAAD is more like the representative body for the EU Higher Education Corporation. And luckily, we have an office here in Accra. You can see on the map, there are also several offices around the world and also in Africa. This is just a glance of DAAD and what we really stand for and a kind of overview. Now about German universities or the German higher education landscape, this is what we have. We have universities, and then we have technical universities, and then we have University of Applied Sciences. So first of all, the universities or the technical universities are institutions that started off, by having these kind of research-oriented programs, and they also have these large faculties and so on. Technical universities have, more like the technical-oriented programs. And then we have other universities called the University of Applied Sciences. These ones, they offer much more career-oriented programs, and they also have a very strong correlation or strong relation with industry. So if you're studying at the University of Applied Science, you really get that kind of practical aspect of everything. And they also have like smaller class sizes to a large extent. And then we have the art and music colleges. So this is the kind of landscape that we have. I think the Fulda University is a University of Applied Science. I'm correct. To study a bachelor's in Germany, you need 3 to 4 years, usually 3 years at a technical university or university, and then 3.5 at the University of Applied Science, where the half year is solely for industrial attachment. Sorry, I think someone says you can't hear, but I guess I'm being heard. So please kindly maybe restart your system. This should work. And then with a master's degree, we are looking at 1 to 2 years. And then we have PhD, which is 3 to 4 years. So obviously, not all the University of Applied Sciences are mandated to award a PhD. I mean, that's why you cannot complete a PhD in most of our University of Applied Sciences, but you can do a bachelor's or master's over there. In fact, it's even possible to still do a PhD, but in collaboration with a technical university or a university. You can do a PhD in collaboration with the University of Applied Science. Now, just a brief info about student visa. It's important that if you don't have evidence of a scholarship, you have to show proof that you can take care of your cost of living. You'll find that in most German institutions, you get the same benefit like a German, where you're not paying heavily on tuition fees, but your cost of living, you have to show proof at the German embassy for your visa. And yes, when you're applying for a student visa, you should have evidence of a letter of admission. Now, your student visa allows you to work. You can work part-time basis for up to 240 days in a year. This is practically about 8 months in a year. And then you can work 120 days. This is up to about 4 months in a year. I mean, you can work, but you shouldn't bank all your hopes on that. So you certainly should have enough money, either with scholarship or showing proof of finance with this minimum of 10,332 euros. Before you apply for your student visa, we encourage you can pass through our office for any support. So let's say you have gained admission to Fulda, you can pass through our office, you can book an appointment with us. So we have a kind of detailed discussion about your educational plans and your visa processes and so on. And yeah, it's in your own interest to do so. It's not mandatory, but it's really helpful that you have somebody look over your documents and so on. So now, one important fact is that since the 1st of March last year, with all student applications, those who don't have proof of a scholarship document, then you must already open something we call the blocked account, where you put in this 10,332 euros as a minimum before you attend the visa interview. So that's something new since 2021. So just to let you know that you are well informed and you start preparing now that you are about applying to several schools. Now, my last slide is on this. This is a page called MyGuide.de. And it's a page that you can find several universities. You can find all the programs that we'll be talking about here from Fulda over there. You can also register an account and you can check your academic credentials with that of Germany. I mean, what is possible, what is not. It's really one-stop shop for everything about studying in Germany. So this is the last slide for me, and I would now like to hand over to Mr. Krinovsky to continue from there. So I'm giving you the presenter. Yeah. So you can go ahead with your PowerPoint.
Yeah, thank you so much. I am sharing my second screen, so you should be able to see my presentation. I just now have to find my original window. All right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction and for having me today. As you heard, I am joining today from the beautiful city of Fulda and the local University of Applied Sciences. My name is Marco, and I'm the International Marketing Manager here in Fulda University's International Office. And I mainly deal with convincing wonderful people abroad that it's the absolute right decision to come and study in the center of Germany at Fulda University of Applied Sciences. Why? You will see throughout the next minutes after a presentation consisting of about 20 odd slides. We'll definitely have enough time to answer your questions, and if that time is not enough, you'll get my contact details to reach out later on if something occurs. Please never hesitate to just contact me via email. It's a beautiful sunny day today here in Fulda. Spring has returned to Germany, and it looks a little bit like this. Not quite yet because trees don't have leaves yet, but here you can see our central campus square. But I wanted to start with a more general approach to today's presentation. Today's presentation is titled Study Locally and Work Globally, Fulda University's International Bachelor's and Master's programs. And I do like to focus my presentations on certain topics. And recently I have found the topic of working and career very, very fruitful, because most of you come to Germany to have a decent qualification and perhaps even stay in Germany for work. What I recently read is from the 320,000 international students Germany has right now, about 2/3 want to stay after graduation. And that is quite good because Germany has a current lack of skilled workers that amounts to 400,000 people each year. So we'd have to hire 400,000 people each year in order to compensate for the lack of skilled labor. So I invite you to come to Germany not only for your studies, but also to stay for work. And zooming in a little bit, for those of you who have not been to Germany or to Fulda, I wanted to show you where we are. It's a very central location, and I mean very central, like 60 kilometers off the actual geographical center of Germany, 80 kilometers north of the center of the European Union after Brexit, and in close proximity to the city of Frankfurt. We are about an hour northeast of Frankfurt, which is also the largest and international airport. But other cities you might know, Cologne, Munich, Hamburg, Berlin, are only a 3-hour ride, train or car away. And that makes Fulda a great vantage point, a great location to, when living in Germany, to explore the rest of the country, but also the rest of the continent. To give you a better idea of what the environment is like, we are surrounded by lower mountain ranges. As you can see, when I say mountain, I mean 1,000 meters tops. It's high enough to guarantee snow in winter, and in summer it's the perfect region to hike, bike, paraglide, climb, canoe, horseback ride. So there's loads to do, very natural, clean air, clean rivers. So a very nice and beautiful region to live in. Another perspective, and keeping today's topic in mind, would be an economic view on the area. What you can see here is the metropolitan area of Frankfurt-Rhein-Main, and you can see Fulda in the top right corner of the map. So we still belong to that wider area, and I brought you a list of internationally renowned companies that might even have branches down in Accra or Ghana. So you can see that those would be the companies you could be dealing with here in proximity, and maybe where you do an internship or with whom you write your thesis. And then that would be a great network already if you consider staying or going back. And what I want to say about the green area, what you can see here is 2.3 million people are employed in this area. So Germany has like 80 odd million inhabitants. 2.3 million people are employed in this area. And the area is responsible alone for over 8% of Germany's GDP. And in the area, we have an unemployment rate of 4%, but in Fulda, it's under 2%. So there are many people work and jobs, there are many vacancies. So we actually seek people to come and work here. The sectors you find in looking at the companies would be banking, finance, investment, construction, aviation, logistics, as well as the automotive and chemical industry. The European Central Bank is located in Frankfurt. With its international airport responsible for 44% of Germany's air freight, Frankfurt International and Frankfurt the city is a logistics hub in Europe. Many jobs post-Brexit have left the city of London and have been moved to Frankfurt in the banking and finance sector. I don't know whether you've heard of the Swedish fintech company Klarna, like paying with your phone sort of thing. You see the city of Gießen, north of Frankfurt. They recently announced to extend their facilities there, creating 400 more jobs. Google will build a new data center in the cloud region of Frankfurt, specifically in Hanau, which you can see east of Frankfurt. So there's loads happening on top what we've already have in the neighborhood. So it's definitely a region to consider for studying and career in Germany. To give you a brief impression of what the city is like, it's a very, very German city, if I may say. You've got these medieval quarters and Baroque quarters, old buildings. Fulda itself is over 1,200 years old. We have palace gardens. You see these half-timbered houses and cobbled streets. Only 70,000 people live in the city. But about 300,000 people in the region. So for 300,000 people, Fulda is the center. And it definitely feels bigger than it is. But if it's too small on a long run, we are in close proximity to bigger cities. So you can just hop on a train, go to Frankfurt or go to Munich and have a blast over a weekend. The university was founded in 1974, so it's not even 50 years old. And today we count 8 academic departments and over 60 study programs. That is about 40 bachelor's and 20 master's programs. And I have to correct Felix here. Since 2018, Fulda is the first university of applied sciences in Germany authorized to award doctoral degrees independently. So we also do co-doctorates with universities, but we also have the independent right to confer doctoral degrees as the first university of applied sciences. So sorry to correct you here, but times have changed. And quick impression of the campus. So we are a campus university. That means all our facilities are located in one area, not spread out over the entire city. So you basically spend your days on campus and with short distances, all the facilities close by, and you constantly bump into the people you already know. If you need to reach out to staff, we are right here, and it creates a really like tight connection and familiar atmosphere when you are on campus. We've got green areas we call the Shire, like in the Lord of the Rings movies. We've got barbecue facilities. We've got sports facilities for basketball and football and ping pong. There's university sports with other facilities. Of course, a library, as you can see, there's a cafeteria that caters for all preferences. So there's halal food, there's vegan, vegetarian options, very student-friendly prices. There's a salad bar and a soup bar. There's a little cafe annexed to it with like coffee and little pastries. So everything you might need throughout a day, you can find on campus. I mentioned 8 departments. Those are the ones you can see here. So a wide range from technical and engineering subjects to natural sciences and health, but also social sciences. We do offer a very wide range of programs. Also atypical for a University of Applied Sciences. Usually they are a little narrow when it comes to the scope of subjects, but we are very wide. So a second aspect that differentiates us from other universities of applied sciences. This could be a little bit small to read. I apologize. I do recommend to check out our website where you can find an overview of all our study programs. And in that database online, you can even filter according to bachelor's, master's, taught in English, taught in German, starting in summer, starting in winter, you name it. But here to give you an idea of what programs we have, you can see the different semesters. So exactly what Felix said, 3 to 4 years for a bachelor's, 1 to 2 years for a master's. And we even do interdisciplinary programs, for instance, engineering and management. That's like electrical engineering and business studies. There is a food engineering and management for food innovation. So that's business and food technology. There is economic law, sustainability and ethics, so like business and social studies together. And yeah, innovative study programs such as renewable energy or e-health. And then we've got dual study programs where a vocational training or learnership, you might call it, is combined with university studies. And last but not least, we have international study programs, which I'll elaborate in a second. To give you an idea of what a University of Applied Sciences actually looks like and what it means, so we have a focus on applied learning. University education in Germany is very theoretical, book studies, and whereas at a University of Applied Sciences, you do have the classes, you do have the theory, but you do not only learn about how to calculate the effectivity of a solar panel. No, you also go into the workshop where you wire solar panels together and you go outside on campus and you have the solar power and you really work with the material. Or you do not only learn the theory how milk from the surrounding mountains, from the cattle, is turned into dairy products. No, you cover your beard, you cover your hair, you put on your lab coat, and you turn milk into mozzarella, which you can see here on the right-hand side. And that familiarizes you with future work environments. It helps you gain this crucial experience that's always needed when it comes to finding internships or being offered the first chance into an employment. It's a very practice-oriented learning. The teaching staff are practitioners. So your mechanical engineering prof is not only a bookworm coming from another university. No, he or she might have been an engineer with Tesla or with Mercedes or something, coming back and sharing the knowledge from the real world out there. International study programs are a special branch of study programs designed for an international student body. They are taught in English and German or entirely in English. The student population is international. The teaching staff is international. They might have study abroad or internship abroad opportunities included in the curricula. And you deal with international topics and you are being prepared for international global work environments. So you study here in Fulda, but you are prepared to work in the entire world. And also, if you remember the title of my presentation, it's study locally and work globally. And that's what we mean by that. You have a local or regional education, but you can, after that, you don't have to stay in Fulda. You can work wherever you want, back in Accra or Cape Town or San Francisco or Singapore, whatever you feel like. On bachelor's level, we've got 3 of these international study programs, which I can also elaborate later if you wish, but I saw that many people replied they're actually interested in master's programs. So you see here we have an entirely in English taught master's program for global software development. Entirely in English is also international food business and consumer studies, and bilingual German-English are then human rights studies, and intercultural communication European studies at our Department of Social and Cultural Sciences, and bilingual is also international management in our business department. If you, for instance, for those masters, if you don't happen to speak German, And Goethe or the DAD, their German courses, because the DAD in many regions also has German lecturers in the universities. If you didn't happen to have German language training, you can join our preparatory programs. For the ones who are interested in master's programs, I recommend PreStudy. That's a preparatory program that offers German courses on all levels, beginners, intermediate, and then up to advanced. And depending on where you are with your skills and where you want to get, it can last from in between 3 months to 18 months until you have that necessary level. Pre-college is a preparatory program for those of you who are seeking to study a bachelor's program, but who might not have a direct university entrance qualification to study in Germany, and who also have to improve their German skills. All those the hands-on experience, the beautiful city in a beautiful area, international study programs, great career prospects, made it really, or already make it really attractive for many students. Again, that's different. Usually universities of applied sciences are very small or smaller. With 10,000 students almost, we are bigger than some universities. So again, that's difference number 3. Out of our almost 10,000 students, 16.5% do not have a German passport, and they come from over 100 different countries. And you can see that the business department and the applied computer science department are very attractive for international students, and that has something to do with the study programs they offer. You can see here business and management, international management, and software development. Those programs also drive up the numbers within these departments. But also the other departments are very international. And top sending countries, what you can see is there's quite a bit of African nations represented here. Sub-Saharan African countries are leading by one student compared to Middle East, Northern Africa. But what you can see is Africa is definitely the top sending continent when it comes to our students. And maybe slowly but surely we'll also increase the number of students from Ghana, which is 24 at the moment. So maybe after today, it'll be 25. So Morocco, watch out, Ghana's coming for you. Statistically speaking, right? Financial matters, always interesting. I think I also saw in the corner of my eye a question about scholarship. So I don't know whether you guys are aware of that. State universities, public universities in Germany do not charge tuition fees. The German tax system allocates money to ministries. Ministries distribute the money to their respective universities, higher education institutions. So that's how we get our money. We don't need to charge our students. So no tuition fees. Students, however, have to cover a couple of costs. They have to pay a semester contribution of 300 euro per semester. In return, apart from that covers certain fees, but in return, you get lower rates in the student cafeteria, but also a bus rail pass for the regional public transportation in the entire federal state of Hesse, which we call semester ticket. So the bus in the morning on the way to university, the train to catch a flight in Frankfurt, the train to Kassel to go to the Brothers Grimm Museum, the train to Marburg to visit your cousin or a friend in Darmstadt. So all these trains you take for free, and the buses you take for free, they are included in your semester ticket. Students, national and international, have to have statutory health insurance. The student rate these days amounts to roughly 100 euro, 110. Then you have to pay accommodation. That differs or ranges from 300 to 400 euro. There are sometimes cheaper rooms, but if you plan about 300 to 350, that's a really fair budget to find a room in a decent area and with not much of a commute and in a decent condition. And that adds up altogether, also depending on your standards with food and all that. You need 750, 800 euro in a month. And as Felix pointed out, you need 860 euro roughly to obtain your visa anyways. So Fulda is well within the limit of what you have to have for your visa. Anyways, it's not that you have your visa money blocked in one account, but Fulda is more expensive. No, that's not the case. Other university towns might be a little bit more expensive actually, but Fulda is still well within that budget or even a little bit cheaper. There are scholarships, but already waiving tuition fees for all students. The funding does not allow very generous scholarships. So the scholarship landscape in Germany is actually quite empty, and it's very competitive. If after all the reading and studying and working, that's why most international students actually work in order to finance their studies. And this year we are increasing our minimum wage to, I believe, 11.50 euro an hour. And you can work up to 20 hours a week. That amounts to over 200 euro you can make in a week. By 4 weeks in a month, that's 800 euros. So with working, the amount you are allowed to work in hours, you can actually cover your expenses pretty well, and that's on minimum wage. If you have still time and energy after class and library and papers and homework and work, you can always join our university sports organization for football, yoga, track running, handball, basketball, volleyball, aerobics, you name it. There's loads to do. We also have a university big band and choir for those of you who are not very sporty, and you can always join a club. We've got a Catholic school group and a Protestant school group and a Muslim school group. We've got an Amnesty branch, a sustainability club, a food sharing and gardening club. So whatever is your thing, you can join a club, or if there's nothing you fancy, you just open your own club. And again, our region and the city has great recreational amenities. So hiking, biking, paragliding, climbing, canoeing, horseback riding. There are great museums also in Frankfurt, and concerts and festivities going on. So with your semester ticket, there are UNESCO World Heritage sites in the state. So with the semester ticket, you also have access for free, like transportation-wise, to go to these places and just explore the state and or the neighboring states with a little bit of extra budget for the odd train ticket. So why Fulda? Generally speaking, it's the wide range of options I find attractive. The combination of theory and practice in the applied sciences. Dual study programs, that's very special for universities of applied sciences. Not being older than 50 years, we have state-of-the-art equipment and modern facilities. We have the entire range from prep program to doctorate, with more than 1,500 students, a very thriving international community, short distances that make it so much easier, and you're not a stranger or just a number in a big university. Extensive support structures, and then again, a beautiful city and all the recreational activities. But speaking about also careers, these preparatory programs help you to prepare for your studies and a future career, help you find internships. Dual study programs are a great preparation with their hands-on experience, but also the other study programs with practice orientation are a great gateway to a career. Our practitioners, the teaching staff are practitioners. They have a great network and insights into the labor markets, state-of-the-art equipment again. We have a career service, especially for international students. The colleagues help you improve your application documents, CVs, cover letters, but also help you to find internships. We have a similar offer in each department. We call them placement officers, and we even have an EU placement coordinator if you wish to do an internship in another European country. We have a business startup service for those of you who don't seek employment, but rather have a startup and be their own boss. We have a company recruiting fair where local and regional companies and national companies come to Fulda and seek new talent. And last but not least, again, Felix, sorry for the correction, PhDs are possible with us. If any questions occur after our now upcoming Q&A, now is the moment for a screenshot or to scribble down my details. Email is hands down the best way to reach me. With the phone, I'm very limited actually, but email is, I highly recommend that. And thank you very much for, I hope I didn't race through this too much, but thank you very much for your attention, and looking forward to seeing you in Fulda. And now I am very much open to all your questions. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Marco. So maybe before we start with the questions, can I ask a few on the dual study program, especially for international students? How feasible is it? Because you need to find, you know, work permit, or you need to find a job placement before that. How can one juggle that, especially applying from back home in Ghana?
Yeah, I've got good news and I've got bad news. I think I'll start with the good news. The good news is you can also start a study program, like a regular student, a regular study program that has a dual option. And in your first year, while you study that, you can look for a partnering company and then kind of change into a dual option. So you don't have to find the company prior to arriving to Germany. You can also do that during your first year of studies. That's the good news. The better news is actually, I don't know whether I mentioned that, once you do a dual study program, you get paid by the company. I did the other day, maybe I can quickly share that. I did the other day stumble across something really cool. So you earn money while you do a dual study program. Those, by the way, they only exist on bachelor's level. So for those of you who are looking for a master's program, you can just fill your glass with water. I talked to the bachelor prospective students now. I came across this the other day. So you can, that's an example of a dual study a payment scheme or wage scheme for our applied computer sciences bachelor program. And you can see that in the first year of being a dual student, you make 1,099 or 1,091 euro before taxes, brutto, before taxes. A net income, that's about 880, 850 euro, which is, again, the exact amount you need to cover your visa fees. And then from the second year on, you can see it is increasing. So our dual students in that particular, that's one company in the Bachelor of Science Applied Computer Sciences. They even offer a notebook and then qualifications and further qualifications. And it takes you 6 to 7 semesters to study that. But just as an example, to give you an idea, what's like even cooler, it's not only the hands-on experience, the company even pays you. Now, the bad news is, since you work for a German company with German colleagues, you will need a very high command of German. But that's just the trade, you know, like you need to contribute to the company's efforts. And in many sectors in Germany, that is only happening in German. For the record, Germany has right now about 21,000 study programs in 400 different universities. 90% of those study programs are taught in German. Only 10% of study programs are taught in English. So keep in mind, if you want to have a wide selection, a choice of what you want to study in Germany, if you want to participate in society, if you want to increase your chances on finding an apartment, a student job, an internship, a job upon graduation, if you want to communicate with authorities, insurances, city hall, immigration offices, even scholarships sometimes, they all require German language skills. So for those of you, if you're really thinking about Germany as a destination, I highly recommend take a German language course, start learning German as soon as possible. I know it's an investment, I know it's difficult, I know those courses are not always cheap, but it's definitely an investment. I showed you that we have a crazy big labor shortage and a very low unemployment rate in this area. We seek people, and if you happen to speak German, that is your selling point. This is something you can really, this is a card to play that really helps you to achieve a great career. And have access even to these special programs. You know, Germany runs on German, definitely.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Yeah, let me even just add that, for example, after studying in Germany and you are done with your studies, you can apply for this 1.5 year visa to look for a job, the job seekers visa. And it's certainly useful to have German proficiency, you know, as a selling point, you know, apart from your English proficiencies, having German proficiency will be very helpful. Yeah.
I mean, we speak English, so also there are obviously study programs that are offered entirely in English, and also staff and students and everyone speaks English. But I guarantee you that there are museums who don't have English wording to describe what you can see, or a restaurant would maybe not have an English menu, and the waiter would not speak English, you know, like just to participate, your neighbors might not speak they might not have a high command of English. So just if you want to participate also, I mean, you're going to live in Germany, it's just to participate in a large scale, I highly recommend some German skills.
All right, let's start with some of the questions coming up. I see this one. It says, what are the general prerequisites for a master's program? So perhaps the language requirements, what you need, and other things, if you can just go by briefly.
Okay. What was that? What happened to my Q&A pod? Can you repeat that? I don't see the question.
The question. Okay. It says, what are the general prerequisites for application for master's programs?
Okay. This happens all the time in these sessions, and I have to say, talking about what are the requirements in order to study this and that comes down to what do you want to study, where do you want to study that, and who are you? If I now tell you our master's program and what program are you interested in? So our master's program, Global Software Development, requires a C1 level of English and no German skills. Our master's program, International Management, requires a C1 level of German and a B2 level of English. The application deadline for Global Software Development is May 31st. For International Management, it's June 15th. The application procedure is different for bachelor's and master's programs. It could even be different if you have a German diploma from another German university, or if you have a diploma from a university in Ghana. Our business department accepts English degrees that come from an English-speaking country as proof of sufficient English skills. So if your high school diploma, if you obtained that in English, you don't need an extra TOEFL or TOEIC or IELTS test to enroll in our international business and management bachelor's program. our Department of Food Technology does not accept high school education in English as sufficient proof of English skills. So I would really have to know about yourself and about the program you're interested in. And because this is so individual, those questions make a lot of sense to deal with one-to-one via email. And then I can also give you very, very individual and personal information on your very case. It's difficult to speak about that topic in a generic way.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So I think Collins, if you heard right, you can kindly contact for more specific overview. But at least you have the general outlook, you know, depending on the program, you know, letter of proof of English proficiency will suffice, or but in certain circumstances, you will need the TOEFL or IELTS test course. This is only about the language requirement, by the way. All right. There's this other one. He says, I have a bachelor's degree in arts, Bachelor of Arts, but he wants to do a bachelor in nursing. He wants to do another bachelor's in nursing. Is that possible? Like switching programs.
Yeah, brilliant. Staying on one track in one field and moving up the ladder, bachelor, master, etc., it's difficult to change subjects. So for a master's in economics, you need a bachelor's in economics. Now you want to change fields. You want to go from arts to nursing. That's not a problem. When you apply, I would have to know which university awarded the bachelor's degree in arts, and perhaps what kind of high school diploma you have. If it's like a West African senior certificate or higher national diploma or whatever you might have obtained in high school. Again, what university awarded the bachelor's degree in arts, because not every college abroad or university is recognized as a university in Germany. And doing so, we might not even recognize all the foreign degrees as equal as higher education in Germany. So again, that's a very personal matter we'd have to deal with. We do have a nursing program that's entirely taught in German, so you would have to have a C1 level of German, because our nursing programs are very, very practice oriented. From the first year on, you work in a clinic with patients, German patients, and that is German speaking patients. So how can you ask a patient how he or she is doing, whether something hurts, whether the swelling has occurred yesterday or 2 weeks ago, if you don't speak the language. So the requirements for nursing would be university entrance qualification, ideally some practical experience due to like with an internship or with an internship, and German language skills on a C1 level.
All right, thank you very much. So let me please alert participants that it's also possible that you can use the hand raiser, and with the hand raiser, when we allow, you can use your microphone. We can unmute you so that you can use your microphone. It also works to ask questions. So that supposing you need more clarification, you can already be that audible. So that's another option if you want to ask a question. So we're still open for questions answered now. All right, is there anyone trying to use the hand raiser or asking a question about anything that has been mentioned here? You can just use the hand raiser, so we allow your microphone, then you can ask your question. In the meantime, if you can, Marco, if you can type your email address in the chat. So it's quite... So is there any question? Oh, sorry, I think I saw also a question in the chat about scholarships. Yeah. So maybe I'll go first and let me currently tell you that with scholarship, DAD, we offer scholarships. We have master's, PhD scholarships. Usually our master's scholarships are quite directed to specific programs in specific universities. So it's not a scholarship open to all courses that you find in Germany. So we have two types of scholarship schemes. We have the Public Policy and Good Governance Scholarship, and then there's also the development oriented postgraduate scholarship program. This is the so-called EPOS programs. But good news is that this year we'll be adding a third scholarship scheme, which is with the name Leadership for Africa. It's already in other African countries, and Ghana has been added. And with this scholarship scheme, it's open to several programs. So perhaps all the courses that will be possible in Fulda, you can apply for that and then apply for a DAD scholarship for that. So then there you have it. You can apply for several programs at Fulda and then apply for Leadership for Africa scholarship for that. But yes, with scholarship, it's quite competitive. And then you need at least second class upper in your bachelor's. And then your bachelor's should not be more than 6 years ago. I mean, these are the basic requirements that you need. There's no age limit, but we say your bachelor's should not be more than 6 years ago. So that's about it for our kind of scholarship. So let's see, it says there's kind of a question coming up. Let me just read it again. So somebody is asking about kind of financing, and he says, apart from having the blocked account that we've already talked about, there is a possibility of the obligatory letter. This is the formal obligation document or the Verpflichtungserklärung, and we didn't mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what happens is the German officials, the German authority wants you to have or wants you to show sufficient funding for at least the first year of studies. Sufficient means 10,332 euro per year. Comes down to 860 odd euro in a month. And there are three major ways, four if you want, to show that you have that funding. Number one, savings. Savings in a blocked account. You print an account balance sheet and you show, look, I've got this money borrowed from the family, saved through a job. I've got the money. They issue you the visa for as long as the money would last. If it's 20,000 euro in an account, you'd get a 2-year visa. The maximum amount you can withdraw from such an account is 860 odd euro in a month. So what you can't do is pool your money, put it in an account, print an account sheet, show it to the visa officer, and then distribute the money back to your family. Wouldn't work. So it is a blocked account. Number two, scholarship. If you have a scholarship by the DAAD, for instance, and you have the scholarship letter that says, we hereby award a scholarship that amounts to 900 euro in a month to Mr. or Mrs. You can show that. Runtime October 23 until July 24, like 2023, 2024. The visa officer could say, oh, awesome. So in that time, the scholarship covers your costs. Granted. By the end of the scholarship, it would also be the end of your visa. So you'd have to show, again, sufficient funding. Number three, Verpflichtungserklärung, or a declaration, or a Verpflichtungserklärung is a document where a resident in Germany, so someone who lives here and pays taxes here, shows with an income confirmation or sheet that he or she has sufficient income and declares that he or she would cover your costs. Number four, a job. If you have a job and you can, and it says in the contract that from when to when you will work and how much money you make, that can also be a sufficient proof of funding. And that's really mathematical. So for instance, you need 860 odd euro in a month for your visa. If you have a scholarship that amounts to 500 euro, you still need to show 360 odd euro in a month from any other source. It has to be, in the end, 860 odd euro in a month. And you can group things. You can say, I have a scholarship and I've got my uncle in Munich who says he'll cover the rest. That even works. Or you have some savings of like 5,000 euro and you have a scholarship. And together that also works. You have to have 10,000 odd euro in a year, every year, for your visa. If that money is spent after 1 year and your visa is due to renewal, you have to show again sufficient funding for the second year of studies. So already throughout the year, you have to look for jobs or other sources, legal sources, to have the funds to secure your funding.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think in one of your programs you have applied computer science and then or that global software development. And Joseph was asking, what is the different or how different are these two programs?
Yeah, so we do have a master's for applied computer science and we do have a master's for global software development. And I know that there are, that's the same department, so the content could even be kind of similar already, because you can also choose different specializations like cybersecurity or robotics or IT infrastructures and such things. But the main difference is global software development is entirely taught in English, and applied computer science is entirely taught in German. And yep.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, I have this other question. I think people are rather typing the questions in the chat, but we can still handle that. So I have this question. It says, I want to enroll in engineering management or business engineering program.
Yeah.
And then has HND.
Higher national
Then,
diploma.
yeah, and then he also has a bachelor's in engineering, electrical engineering, and so I think that.
Fantastic. So if the bachelor, I'm gonna share with you the DAD is brilliant. I'm just gonna slip this in very casually here. But the German Academic Exchange Service is really brilliant, and I'm sharing their admission database with you. So for all of you who have questions about how do they recognize my diplomas, my educational certificates, go to the admission database, select Ghana, choose graduate report type higher national diploma, and you will see with your educational background, you qualify for direct subject restricted admission only to University of Applied Sciences for studies in the subject area of your previous education or a related subject. That is very good news. So with your engineering bachelor's diploma, if it is awarded by a recognized university, so if you feel free to put it in the chat which university it was, I can even look it up if it's like, what is it Gold Coast or what's it called in Ghana? I do see many degrees from.
University.
Yeah.
It's a KNUST, Kwame Nkrumah University of.
And I didn't catch that.
Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, or the Cape Coast, University of Cape Coast.
I can. I know this is the tension. Can you feel the tension? So what I can do is I share. That's another platform, Anabin, and here that's where I'd look up your universities. So I didn't hear that so well now, but I'm gonna look for, because that's a word I heard. But if it's Accra Institute of Technology, for instance, you see status H+-. That means not the entire university is recognized as equal in Germany, but some of their study programs are. So I'd have to look into the respective study program we're talking about, and yeah, that'll be figured out in the application process whether you have direct admission. But already with your higher national diploma, you have direct admission anyways. Our engineering bachelors, though, like industrial engineering and such things, they're taught in German. So the challenge could be to have the necessary German level in order to enroll. Or we have a business program on bachelor's level that's entirely taught in English. That is international business and management. So it is businessy, or a very cool program, which I like, is science and engineering. It is the first year of studies is taught in English. You only have to show a B1 level of German, but that's a very intermediate and quickly to reach level. After that, it becomes a little bit tricky. And in that program, the first year of studies is in English, and you get like a foundation. Physics for engineers, statistics for engineers, math for engineers, plus German language training. And then after the first year, you choose a specialization. Applied computer science, or food technology, or electrical engineering, or renewable energy. And that then is taught in German. That even has dual options. So that's a really cool, let's say, low barrier entry into the engineering sciences, because it only requires a B1 level of German. Other programs require a C1 level of German, and that's already a tough cookie. But B1 is something you can achieve within our institution or externally back home in, I'd say, easily a year, depending also on your language learning abilities. But I'd say a year you can manage to reach a B1 level. Also a good opportunity to save some money and prepare your transfer to Germany.
Yeah. So there's this other question. It says, does Fulda offer medical degree or specialty in
We
field
have
of
a department for health sciences, and they do a wide range of health-related programs, nursing, physiotherapy, midwifery. Then they also do health stuff that doesn't involve touching people, like health economics, health policy, healthcare management. And then they even do like international health sciences, public health nutrition, interdisciplinary health sciences, interdisciplinary health management. But we don't do medicine. Medicine is highly competitive in Germany. Hardly, like, the percentage of internationals studying medicine in Germany it's a fraction. I want to say it's maybe point something percent, because it is in German, and the German they need is, even for some native speakers, really high. And then it's highly competitive. There's not even enough spots for German students. German students go and study medicine in Ukraine or Romania or Hungary or Austria or abroad in other countries, because they don't get admitted here in Germany. So it's even tougher for internationals coming in.
All right, thank you very much. So yeah, I saw this other question. It says I have what? Level 2 student from the Institute of Chartered Accountant, and okay, so basically he's asking about scholarship for BSc Accounting and Finance, but there's accounting and finance or courses related to accounting in the business.
Yeah, we have a master's program for accounting, finance, controllership, taught in German. Again, needs a C1 level of German. Yeah, that. I'm not quite sure what to add. I mean, it's accounting, finance, controllership. You'll find on the website what's the content, but it's highly descriptive, the title, and it is in German again, because those are also topics you deal with German clients. throughout your studies here. You've got the German Stock Exchange in Frankfurt. So that is definitely it's important to have German skills there. But it's also worth it. Again, like once you speak it, it opens so many doors.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. So I think the person was asking about scholarship, but for bachelors, in DAD we don't have scholarships for bachelor programs. It's usually for masters and upwards. And at least you're not paying tuition fees, so it's a kind of a scholarship to some extent. Maybe the rest is looking for your
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, you know, we have so many students asking for scholarships. Like my cousin went to the US, he got a scholarship, but it's like, what kind of scholarship did he get? Like a 50% waive or a 75% or 100% waive for the tuition fees? Because rent, food, health insurance, many students, even with scholarships, still have to pay. And we are waiving the tuition in the first place. So you're left with the same type of costs that compared to other European countries, Germany is very affordable actually. Like German supermarkets and all that, it is less expensive than France or the Netherlands or Scandinavian countries.
Definitely. Thank you very much. So, I mean, we have just about, let's say, 7 minutes to close the session. I'll still offer, if you still have questions and you want to use your microphone to ask your question audibly, kindly click on the hand raiser and then we allow your microphone and you can ask your question. Otherwise, you can still type it in the question and answer pod. I think only a few people are using it. Okay, maybe perhaps, I don't know, Marco, if you have experience with, okay, they have someone, Mohammed Miftahu. So Mohammed, I just unmuted you, if you can.
I see a question about remote sensing and geoinformation systems. Is that still the question? Did I?
Yeah, perhaps Mohammed has a floor now. Let's hear him and then we'll go on to the remote sensing. Mohammed. So Mohammed, you can speak up, or we can hear some background noise.
I want to find out about the remote sensing in GIS, not yet
Remote sensing. Okay, you are the one who asked about the remote sensing.
Yeah, okay. So remote sensing in GIS in my world is geoinformation systems. We don't have a related department that will deal with that kind of stuff, like at all. But that brings me to have you mentioned you have mentioned MyGuide, right? Felix?
Yes, I did mention MyGuide.
Guys, if you go to this beautiful website here, studyingermany.de, you'll also find how to find a study program in Germany, and that will take you to Hochschulcampus and MyGuide. And there you just type in, it's search engine database type of thing. You just put in geoinformation systems, or you look for study programs, and it'll show you all the study programs related and all the universities and descriptions and content and all that throughout Germany. In Fulda, we don't deal with that field whatsoever, I'm afraid.
All right, thank you. So there's something else about financing, proof of finance. It says, for proof of funds, can one use their investment account statements rather than the regular savings account? I don't know if you have any experience with dealing with a home office or the.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not quite sure whether when you say investment account, whether we talk about the same thing. If I had an investment account and I take a balance sheet, that investment account does not necessarily have to look like that in a month from now, like because I am investing and I'm having revenues from market developments, but the revenues could also be negative. So if you print an investment account balance sheet now, there could be less money there in 2 months from now, as far as I'm concerned. So this is not something reliable and stable. Whereas a blocked account, you cannot dissolve. You cannot withdraw all the money at once. It'll stay. So we need something that is stable and a guarantee that that money cannot disappear.
Yeah, rightly so. I think there was an interaction that we held with the visa section, and the response was almost like what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So usually it has to be something that is, yeah,
Well, that's
maybe
the same thing.
you've liquidated the account and then put it into cash, and then you can use it.
And I mean, it's the same with everything, you know. I mean, you can tell me, you can show me the deed for a house and tell me, hey, I've got this house. Here's the deed. And I'm like, I don't know what's the house worth. Like, I don't know what it's worth in 6 months. You can show me a picture of your gold stash, and I don't know what your gold stash would be worth. And still, there's no guarantee that, I mean, you'll not have it on you when you come, but you have to have access to that money also while you are in Germany. So yeah, exactly what Felix said, you know, like if you have gold, that's not proof. Sell it, put it into an account, into a blocked account, that's proof.
Yeah, very much so. So thank you very much. I think we can start closing our session from now. It's only about 2 minutes. Maybe if you have your final remarks so that we close the session with that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really like the questions today. Super interesting. Again, I can remind you of my email address. If anything, if somebody was too shy today, or if anything comes up later today or in the future, once the German Academic Exchange Service provides me with the list of participants, of today's participants, I'll also reach out to you guys anyways. I can, if you want, attach the slides of today's presentation, and doing so, we'll get in touch and we can start a communication from then on. If you have questions about how to apply, when to apply, costs or whatever, I'm more than happy to answer your questions in the future. Thank you for having me. Super interesting today, and looking forward to coming to Accra one day, but also looking forward to having you here in Fulda.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Pres, if you can share your contact screen. So
Sure.
also wants to copy it. So thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time, and I wish you all the best of the day. I've also been doing this together with my colleague Marlin, and Marlin will share some helpful hints on the chat so that you can connect. And yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. Hopefully there's other events that are coming up like this, and it's always nice to connect virtually. Thank you again, and have a good day. Bye from Accra.
Thanks, guys. Best regards from Fulda.
Bye.